side comb. We need to get ribbon. This is around 1/4 of an inch, and we need to fill in the gaps and lock this in, because we need to attach the veil onto this. So what we do here is we wrap it round. Go in between. That's done. And right at the back there is where I'm just going to tack it. So now I can sew the veil on top of this. So that's done. This step is going to take some time. I've got some beading, as I showed you before. It's very slow. It takes a lot of time. So here we have it. Now we've got all the glitter on the edges of the veil. Now that's all done. And I must admit, that was painful. It was slow, but I got there in the end, going all the way round. So you can see all that is stitched to the edge. It's back on the table now, and it's not as long as I would have liked it to have been, because she changed her mind while I was making it. The whole length of it was going to be dragging on the floor, but now the quantity that we bought, she decided to have the veil over her face, meaning that it's not going to be dragging on the floor as we wanted it to be. Nevertheless, here we have it. Here's the shape of it. There you can see there's the dent that goes in, and we've got that equally on the other side. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fold it over and going to gather it. So it's either we gather it before we fold it, or we fold it then gather it. So here's the opposite side to it. So that's the side. So along here now we've got to find the centre of this roughly. I'm not sure, I think I made this bit a bit too big to go over the head. But there, can you see the shape of it? So all this bit is a top bit going on her head, over her head. So that's her head, so that covers her face. And this bit here is all the bit that's going to be behind her. So roughly is 6 foot. So it's at least it's down to her shoes. And this bit here is 40 inches. So we've got a lot there. Now what do? Do we put all the studs in at this stage, all the sequins? Or do we wait until it's on a dome and we just scatter it all over the place? I'd like to put it on at this stage, but what I'm worried about is the glue dirtying up my table. So what I'll do first is I'll gather it all up, I'll stitch it, put it onto the comb, which is this, which will be, when I gather this on, I will hand sew it onto the comb. So let me do this now and stitch this bit together, and then that will come over. So I will do that now. It seems a shame to take it off my table because it looks beautiful. as you can see, that's where I've stitched it. I've just done 2 stitching all the way along. So this is the veil to go over the face, and that's for the body. What I'm doing now is I'm going to stitch this onto here, and I'm going to do that by hand, and this is the bit for the back, so I'm going to stitch that onto there so that when you see it on the top it will look like that. So I'll do that by hand, and then you bring this forward backwards and it should look like that, and you see the bit of the ribbon. So that's looking good. I know it's difficult to see, so I've put another colour behind it. So here's our veil. And this is the bit that we've just done. So what I've done is I've top stitched it in the top here, so that when it opens up, so this is the front, when this comes over the head, you see that inside. So it's a bit tidy, and then you evenly spread it around the head. You can put some flowers on top of it if you wish, but that is the ending, because it's going to spend most of its time that way anyway. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch this onto here, but we're going to stitch it with this facing downwards. So now we've got a bit of a hump like that, and then when we've done that, basically your veil is finished, other than putting the sequins on. So I'm going to now hand stitch this on, and then I'll be back. What I've failed to mention is stitching this on with an ordinary sewing needle is going to be a nightmare. So what you need is one of these sewing needle, which is an upholster sewing needle, and it just goes through curves. It's much more easy to handle. So get yourself one of these needles. That's the hand stitching that I've done there. Stitched it on to this, so that's nice and secure. And then what it does is it turns that way, so we look at it like that. So in there, as you can see, it's nice and tidy. Then the hair will go over this. I put this colour behind it because it was appearing difficult to see it. So that's the veil now done in all its glory. So now I'm going to attempt to put the sequins on. So I'm going to spread it out and evenly put the sequins on. And that is tall.